wrap up my third grader's year, let's talk about all the books that he and I read this school year. Welcome to this House of Walls. My name is Ashley, and on this channel, I love to share all things homeschooling and books, and today is a little combination of those. So we definitely love to incorporate reading into our day-to-day life, and especially our homeschool year. This year, for my third grader, we didn't use any kind of reading curriculum of any kind. We just picked books that we wanted to read and went with it. It was kind of amazing pulling out all the books that we read. All of the books that he read on his own, we have kept in the bookcase behind me and kept those. But really having to go through and find all the read alouds that we did, it's a nice little stack. I'm pretty proud of it. So as always, I'm going to take a nice little sip of coffee and let's start talking books. All right, we're going to start small and work up to read alouds. So we did a lot of picture books throughout the year. I don't have the stack of those here because a lot of times I just pull them off of my shelf over there, and kind of if it has to do with a holiday that we're around or I just want to pick up a picture book and read it, we do. And honestly, we had kind of fallen off of picture books a little bit just as my kids are getting older, but I think they're so fun to incorporate into our morning kind of reading time, so we definitely did. The next are more kind of like resource books that we incorporated into our day. Now, it wasn't every day. It was probably the days that we weren't doing things like history, and so we had a nice little extra chunk in the morning and would pull this out and read it. So some of the books that we did together was the national parks. This was a lot of fun to go through and read, especially we were doing US history and geography. And so this one, I really like this one because it has real pictures in it. Now it does have some drawings, but for the most part, you get real pictures. And I think that just brings it to life a little bit more. I mean, look at how gorgeous. So this was a lot of fun to go through. Then we did a couple of Usborne Lift the Flap books. So we did biology, and again, just a lot of fun to go through and kind of read some different things here. And then we did Sea Under the Ground, so you could really see what is under the streets, or Grubs and Shrubs, Creepy Caves. So these are a lot of fun we go through and read together. And then another DK book, The Magic and Mystery of Trees. These are so well done. So from seed to tree. And a lot of these are drawn out, but then there's actually some pictures too. And I don't know, I like having that little mix of pictures in a book. So this one was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Just a quick little one. I think we read this one in a day, but A Wasp Builds a Nest. So it has all these little flaps here, and so you just go day to day. You start at day one with the queen wasp, how she builds her nest, until all the way till September. So that one was really cool. And then we are currently going through A City Through Time. We have kind of used this for history before, but we haven't been able to like really dive into it, so we are now. So it talks about like a Greek colony, and then it kind of moves up in time. Citizens of Rome, a castle, an industrial port, and then it goes to like a modern day city. So this one is a lot of fun to go through and poke around and see who's in these towns. It points out different people and everything. So it's been a lot of fun. All right, let's get into books that my son read. So he has definitely really taken off with reading. He has always been a really good reader. Once it clicked, it clicked. So we started the beginning of the year with him still reading aloud to me. And then maybe about halfway through the year, we switched him to just going off and reading on his own. Now he is understanding what he's reading. I am asking him questions and he is fully on it. And so we're going to stick with it. So some of the first books I'm going to talk about actually went with The Good and the Beautiful Level 2. So we did Wesley and the Wolves and Molly and the Falcon. So these are really shiny. These were just kind of cute little books. I do like how they're laid out, how the student reads and then the teacher reads. So it was books that we read together. And then he had My Third Nature Reader. Honestly, this was pretty easy. It's like a bunch of picture books all combined. But he enjoyed it. And then the other books here I have into categories, not when he read them. So the first are a couple of more of like the you can read kind of books. So we have You Should Meet Katherine Johnson. I think he really enjoyed kind of getting to know her a little bit more. He is super into anything space right now, and so this was a great one. Going off of that same theme, we have Moonwalk, The First Trip to the Moon. And then we also have Frog and Toad All Year. So this he read over Christmas time, which was great because the last story actually takes place over winter or Christmas. So now he is all done with the Frog and Toad series, and we get a kick out of them. Then he did some chapter books that aren't part of series. So he did Shelter Pet Squad Jelly Bean. He is my animal lover, and so getting to read about a girl who goes and helps at an animal rescue center was really cute. He did Fantastic Mr. Fox by Roald Dahl. He, I think, got a kick out of the farmers that are trying to outsmart this fox, and the fox outsmarts them. This is Comic Guy, A Silly Science Experiment. So just a cute little book. I think we got this in a little free library, but it all deals with science, and some of it is kind of little comic strippy kind of stuff. So that was a fun one. And then he actually just finished this. He read My Father's Dragon, and I think he got, I think he liked all the different scenarios that the father got himself into. And then we have books that are part of a series. So let's talk about those. So he read the first Zoe and Sassafras, Dragons and Marshmallows. I have actually since bought him more of these books. He loves animals, he loves science, he loves fantasy. So this was a really cute book for him to read, and he wants to read more of them. He also did the first book in the Boxcar Children. We had done this as a read aloud. I think he was in kindergarten, so he didn't remember it. So he had a really good time going through it, really for the first time. I do have, I think, through book 3 or 4, so maybe he'll pick it up and continue. I have the Campground Kids Grand Teton Stampede. He really enjoyed this. So kids that go camping and solve the mystery. He read the first 5 for the Dragon Masters series. He is absolutely all about dragons right now. And so these were a lot of fun for him to read. I don't know that we'll continue with the series because they are a little young for him now, but he did really enjoy them. And then the last set of series that he read was The Secret Explorers. He read the first 4, and again, this was a lot of fun. He is very into anything science, and this, you have a group of kids that all have kind of a niche that they really love and know things about, and so there will be something happening. They get teamed up together and go off to solve the mystery or help something, anything like that. So this was a cute series. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee and let's talk about read-alouds. So our first book, maybe we started it in the summer. I don't know if we started it right, like on the first day of school, but we read The Penderwicks, A Summer Tale of 4 Sisters, 2 Rabbits, and a Very Interesting Boy. Honestly, we did this as a family read aloud before we kind of broke kids up and they were doing their own. And they weren't so sure about reading a book about 4 sisters, but this was a very cute book. I might get, there's 4 more books, and they all follow different seasons, and I think that would be kind of fun to go through and read. The next book I actually don't have. I've already taken it to our local used bookstore, but I'll put a picture. That's Island of the Blue Dolphins. We did this at the beginning of the school year, in the beginning of US history, and I think it was good. I don't think it really grabbed them, which is why it's still not here. I think it was a good read, and I'm glad that we did it as a read aloud. Now, we have one book here that we actually didn't finish, and that is Bridge to Terabithia. Honestly, I think that we were reading this at the same time that I was having to readjust curriculum and separating group subjects, things like that. I know on the back it says ages 8 to 12. There were just some subject matters in here that, continuing on with my then 8-year-old, I think he was just a little young for. I still have it. Maybe we will pick it up and try it again sometime down the road, or I will give it to my older son to have him read it, because I know it is a beloved book. It just wasn't right for us at that time. The next book that we did was By the Shores of Silver Lake. This is book 5 of the Little House series. We have been reading the Little House series book for years now, so this was a lot of fun to continue on. And then it's not in order, but if I'm talking about one, I'm going to talk about the other. We also read The Long Winter, and again, really good. I think that this one really points out some issues, especially that Ma had with Native Americans. So we used it as an opportunity to pause and talk about it, about why she would feel that way, about why it wasn't right to feel that way, everything like that. But we really enjoyed it. I think I have a box set all the way through the first 4 years. So I would like to continue it and finish them out. Then we have The Vanderbeekers of 141st Street. So this was so cute. We read this over Christmas time because this one does take place over Christmas. And it's about 5 siblings that their family is about to be kicked out of their apartment in New York City. And so they come together and rally the neighborhood and try to befriend the landlord. And it was really cute. Again, I think that this is one, there's maybe like 3 or 4 more books, and I think that they take place in different seasons. So I might pick up the others and kind of go through them this next year. Then speaking of series, we read book 2, 3, and 4 from the Heartwood Hotel. Again, they take place all in different seasons. That seems to be a theme with this kind of age book. So we did Heartwood Hotel, The Greatest Gift, Better Together, and Home Again. All really cute. I highly recommend this series. It's cute. There's some kind of problem that needs to be solved. It can be a little tense at times, but it all comes together at the end of the book and ties itself nice with a bow. Then I don't have the exact copy that we read. This I think is the actual story, and we did like a young reader's version of it, but we did Tom Sawyer. Again, I think with studying US history, this was the perfect time to pick it up. And the young readers was a good introduction for my 8 to 9-year-old to know the story of Tom Sawyer. I would like for my kids to eventually read this version of it, which is why I still have it. But it was a good read. And then we did The Wind in the Willows. I think maybe my son was a little too young to pick up on all of the like nuances and humor of this book and the characters in it. But it was cute, and I'm glad that we picked it up. And then we read Because of Winn-Dixie. So I have watched the movie. My kids had watched the movie before, but it had been quite a few years, and so they couldn't remember it. My youngest and I read the book, and then we all sat down one day and watched the movie instead of doing schoolwork, which was a lot of fun. And I really liked this book. It was so sweet, and my copy has a little note because I found it in a little free library. Oh, also, you can see I have a collection of tabs. So I have started tabbing all of our books, read alouds and my kids' individual reads, because it just kind of helps us stay on track of what we are reading, and I don't have to go through and be like, well, let's see, today read to chapter whatever. It's just there. They read tab to tab. Anyways, cute book. We are to our very last book. It is our current read aloud, and we're really enjoying it. We did try it as a family read aloud, and that didn't work, so my youngest and I are continuing on with it just by ourselves, and that is The Wild Robot Protects. So this is book 3 in the Wild Robot series, and it's such a great series. We are really enjoying this one and the previous books. So this one, the Wild Robot has to go on a mission. There is a poison tide in the water and it's killing off the plants and animals, and so she takes it upon herself to figure out how to stop the poison tide. All right, those are the books that we read. I can't believe we read so much. That was a stack of books that I didn't think that we read as much, just because I hadn't, we weren't using like a curriculum or anything, but this is pretty good. I'm really excited about what we're going to continue reading this summer and next year. I think my plan is, we're using Build Your Library, but I would still like in the evenings to incorporate our own read aloud book, because we have so many on our shelves that we definitely want to get to. It's kind of the story of my life. There's a lot of books on my shelves that I want to get to and read, but also same with my kids and books that I want to enjoy with them. So on that note, if you like this or anything else that I share on this channel, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and I will be back for more soon.